was always taught to never kick a man while he's down. But thankfully, Hodinkee is not a man. It's an online media entity. So let the kicking begin. I'm joking, by the way, guys. I'm very much joking. But there was an article that came out recently that a bunch of you guys have sent to me, and it's almost like the perfect snapshot encapsulating stuff that, well, myself and a lot of my followers have been complaining about for quite some time. So let's just jump into it. It is 12:58 p.m. Let's get down to business. Real quick, guys, go ahead and subscribe to my second channel, Everything is Gay. That's right, that's the name of the channel. I'll leave a link in the description below. We talk about everything that we're not supposed to talk about here on YouTube, and yeah, it's a whole lot of fun, and YouTube has already tried to take that channel down, so please click the link in the description below and subscribe over there. All right, guys, I am wearing the very prolific SKX007, the watch that really started it all for me, kind of the gateway drug to watch collecting, or it used to be. Talking about gateway drugs to watch collecting, Hodinkee used to be a media site for people kind of entering the hobby and wanting to learn more, because Hodinkee, after all, used to be all about watches. Now, some of you guys may be familiar with the article that I'm referring to, but on adweek.com, a writer by the name of Mark Stenberg wrote an article. The title is How Hodinkee's Big Bet on a Watch Business Backfired. So for those of you who aren't familiar, Hodinkee, I think in 2021, purchased the reseller Crown and Caliber. Now, they are a pretty popular watch seller. Again, they buy and sell watches, and I've never personally done business with them, but I know a lot of people who've purchased watches from them and had a great experience, so I have no issue with them at all. The text in the article goes on to say, Hodinkee acquired Crown and Caliber in February 2021, but has since cut nearly 75% of its staff, including all of its watchmakers and technicians. That is insane. Okay, so first, let's talk about everyone involved. Hodinkee. Very, very popular wristwatch media site. They have access to a lot of watches that us normal people may not have access to. So if you want to get some good pictures of a watch that you might not have the ability to see in person, you can go search on Hodinkee. They probably have it, and they probably have some information written about said watch. Crown and Caliber. They are essentially a wristwatch marketplace. You can sell your watch to them. You can purchase watches from them. Okay, so that's those two entities. In February 2021, there was a merger. Hodinkee purchased them. Now, according to this article, Hodinkee raised $40 million for this merger. I don't know if that's what they spent on the merger, but that's what they raised, so we can speculate there. Now let's take a look at what was going on in the world around February 2021. Well, that's very early 2021, so we are still very much in the pandemic, and if any of us were buying and selling watches around that time, you saw the prices going absolutely crazy. They were skyrocketing. For reference, this is when the Panda ceramic Daytonas were going for like, I think an average of $56,000. And this is a stainless steel Rolex, guys, okay? And it retailed, I think back then, for $13,750. And again, the average going price secondhand was in the 50,000s. So the brainiacs over at Hodinkee probably saw the secondhand prices going crazy on wristwatches, and they're like, well, there's money to be made here. Why don't we acquire a very popular wristwatch reseller, and then we can kind of have a little piece of the pie, kind of, you know, capitalizing on these crazy resale prices. Now, according to this article, Hodinkee and Crown and Caliber weren't really profitable, and then when you look at Crown and Caliber itself, they were buying top dollar for watches during those, you know, pandemic crazy years. And unfortunately, in 2022, we already started seeing a massive decline in secondhand prices in regards to wristwatches. I mean, I think Rolex and Patek both dropped like 37% that year, and it's just been kind of of going down. I mean, there's been some peaks and valleys, of course. It's been going up and down, but we are not seeing prices like, 2020, 2021. It's just not happening. So unfortunately, with Crown and Caliber having spent a lot of money on kind of overinflated watch prices, there were also other expenses that Hodinkee was kind of struggling with. This article lists a 2019 10-year lease that Hodinkee signed on a brick-and-mortar outpost in Soho, New York. And again, that lease was signed in 2019, but 5 years later, the store hasn't opened. So, that wasn't a very good decision by Hodinkee. Now, since 2023, Hodinkee has had 4 rounds of layoffs. In August of 2023, they reduced their headcount by 20% and then another 50% in November of that year. So the company had about 150 employees in September of 2022, and internal sources haven't confirmed how many they have now, but they've placed it between 30 and 75 people. So there's, who knows? Now, Crown and Caliber itself used to be about 75 people, but they've shrunk to 20. And again, the thing that really, really damages them is that their entire team of watchmakers and technicians are kaput. They're gone. So what does all of this have to do with kind of what I've been talking about for a long time in regards to, complaining about Hodinkee? I'm not doing a victory lap celebrating Hodinkee's apparent downfall, because this is not Hodinkee's downfall. I don't think they're going anywhere, just to be clear. And I'm definitely not celebrating Crown and Caliber getting hosed during this merger. Like, that's definitely not what's happening. But this is a very interesting encapsulation of exactly what we've been talking about on this channel and in my comment section and in Hodinkee's comment section for quite some time in the recent years. In this article, it goes on to talk about audience trust, okay? While Hodinkee originally bet that it could turn its readers into Crown and Caliber customers, that strategy didn't pan out. After the merger, the Hodinkee website began featuring more pre-owned watches, including ones it sold through Crown and Caliber. This made audiences suspicious that Hodinkee was promoting Crown and Caliber inventory rather than recommending the best products on the market, according to 6 people familiar with the situation. In 2022 and 2023, traffic to Hodinkee declined, sources said, and this article even references some comments that have been growing critical of Hodinkee throughout the years, with one being quoted, "I feel that Nick and his new direction is really killing Hodinkee. He seems to think he's challenging preconceptions, but really he's turning Hodinkee into TMZ." So the Nick that they are referring to is Nick Marino, who was the then executive vice president of content for Hodinkee. So all of this is to say that it's not just you and I and other commenters noticing that Hodinkee went from being about watches and horology and collecting and kind of turned into just sell, like everything but the watches, but you also need to buy watches from us, exclusive releases, just sell, just buy, and it seems disingenuous, and it seems like they've lost their way. And unfortunately, according to this article and this article's sources, it seems to be damaging Hodinkee. So am I complaining that Hodinkee uses their influence and their site to sell products? Absolutely not. I sell watches. I sell merchandise. I don't think there's anything wrong with that, and I'm not trying to claim that because they have merged with a store, that's inherently bad. But when you go from being a site that talks about watches and shares the love of horology, and it turns into just a store everywhere you look, yeah, it's no surprise that you lose followers, you lose viewers, and your comment section starts becoming somewhat critical of you. Especially when you hire staff that attack people in the comments. It's not a good look, and Hodinkee's been doing that for the past couple years. By the way, speaking of selling watches, although I didn't do a staff cut, we did do a massive price cut over at the Time Teller shop. So all the prices have been absolutely massacred at the Time Teller shop. And when you use coupon code SPRING, you get stuff at even more of a discount. So don't miss out. So guys, what do you think of all of this? Do you think Crown and Caliber kind of got screwed during this merger? Do you think people are being too critical of Hodinkee? Do you like the direction that Hodinkee has taken? Or do you kind of wish that it was back in the old days when they were kind of just doing watch reviews and watch exposés? Let me know what you think that pivotal shift was and what direction do you think they're going and what do you think the outcome will be? Leave me that comment and I'll catch you on the next one. All right, guys, stay happy, stay healthy, stay blessed. I'm Jory Goodman, the Time Teller, and always remember, I didn't invent time. I just tell it.